Where are
Not
the
to
good
wear them, but where
Not to
are
wear
they?
Where are they? You gotta
That's
find-
the
I
question
need
you
to find
don't
some.
want to ask
Actually,
when you
where are
get to New Orleans.
Don't
Right.
ask that question.
Where are your good walking shoes?
Where are you? There you go. There you go. Now we do. There you go. That's fine. Yeah, don't ask that question when we get there. That will needs to be when you have that out. So I'm thinking we're probably going to have between, I'm guessing we'll have 15 to 20 go, I think. I know there's not, did you get that recording?
Yep.
Awesome. I know not all of you guys are here, but we've got a lot of families that have said they want to go. Like the Jaegers want to go, so that's 3 there. Samantha Priest wants to go. Aaron Trout, these are all, so we got, I think we'll have a pretty good sized group. So my goal is to have 15 to 20 kids and probably either 4 or 6 adults go with us. Of that, myself will 3 guys, 3 girls. I'll be one of the guys. Eric and I are still talking about, I think he'll be more like a district representative, less than like with our group. He'll go down with us and he'll hang out with us from time to time. But his primary role is going to be as a district operative. We'll talk about that more though. If he wants to come, I don't care. But we'll talk about that some more. So either we'll need 2 guys and 3 gals, or 1 more guy and 1 more gal, or 2 gals. Kind of still seeing how much numbers we'll get there. So the first thing is the walking gathering. I kind of wanted to make sure everybody understands what that kind of means. That means everywhere we go, we're going to be walking. In past gatherings, there's been shuttles from like the hotel to places and everything. That's not happening this year. Everything's walking, which is great because the shuttles were a mess at times. We got kind of messy. I know there was a lot of folks that had a hard time getting back to their hotels on time because of the shuttles and everything. So this year, it's going to be all walking around everywhere. So as you guys might know, it's down close to the French Quarter, Bourbon Street. Some of those names ring a bell, which is kind of something I want to throw out there. It's a big city, so there's big city stuff going on. My goal, I think, predominantly because I think our group's going to be pretty young. I think we're going to have a lot of 8th graders that are going into 9th grade and freshmen and maybe some sophomores. We're going to probably try to avoid that stuff. I know some groups try to go down Bourbon Street at some point just to kind of see it. We will either avoid that entirely or go down there during the day, like when there's nothing going on. It's not totally crazy. But there is some cool history down there. There's a lot of cool stuff down there. So I just want to be realistic about that. But it is a walking gathering, so we'll be doing a lot of walking. So you'll need to find your, where are your walking shoes? Yeah. Wear your walking shoes, because you'll be doing a lot of walking in the heat. So we'll need water bottles. We'll need good walking shoes to be walking around down there. And all the hotels will kind of sit around that route that I have on there. There's some that are up north, and then there are a few that are down south, but they're all kind of in that general vicinity. But there will be a lot of walking. Any questions about that you guys have? Should be pretty straightforward. They have, I don't know, how many of you guys have been to a gathering before? Let me ask that really quick. So a couple of you. So let me throw this out here just so that you guys know. Every gathering, they have a ton of people who are older that have volunteered. They're called ambassadors. They wear, I think, yellow. They used to wear blue, I think, but now they wear yellow stuff. And then there's Yavs, who are college-age folks who wear orange stuff. They have those people on every street corner. So you're never like just walking with nowhere to go. You don't know what you're doing. Every path has been laid out by those folks. So you're just kind of following. And usually there's a huge crowd of people that you're walking with anyway. You'll see all these people walking with the same backpacks and they're wearing the same shirts and everything. So that's kind of, it's not like you're just out in the middle of New Orleans wandering around with no one around. Everywhere you'll go, you'll be following a path that's probably been laid out. I know that's how it was for me. Even for the Yavs, they have that kind of laid out for them too. So, yeah, any questions about that? Sweet. Okay, cool. So then the big thing that we want to talk about is cost. So that's laid out on the black and white little sheet thing. On the front side is the calendar. These are all like the big dates that we have to hit. So October 1st, November 1st. October 1st is when registration, it's actually October 15th, but October 1st is when I'm going to start trying to ask for registration sheets. And then November 1st is when we put in the deposit and we mail in everything that needs to go in for us to get registered. After that, we can still put people in. It just hikes up in price to $425, and then it hikes up again in March to $475. So I think Eric and I have talked about this. Our requirement to register, I think, is going to be around $200. That's like what we're going to say. Okay, so you get your name in the hat and you say we're going to go. It'll be $200, and that'll be what you put in. After that, we can figure out how we'll work out the full payment getting made from you guys. But that's kind of what we're thinking. And that cost on the back laid out there, that expenses, I'm going to kind of work through that. So that registration cost is registration. That pays for everything that the gathering itself does. So that'll be your book bags and all that kind of stuff. Travel, we're still deciding. I'm going to talk to Eric about this, and we'll decide like this week if we're going to bus down there or we're going to fly. The difference is about $100 between flying and busing, not including a shuttle. But the bus ride is about 19 hours. The flight is about 5. So we're trying to kind of weigh that one out. It's cheaper to bus, obviously, but flying saves us a lot of time and everything else. So we're still working that one out. The hotel, that will be that's just the kind of average price. We'll talk about that more in a second. The district event is an event that the Iowa East and Iowa West, actually, we're doing one together. This year we're going to do something together as a district, just kind of getting all the kids in the district together. And then there's a t-shirt that goes with that. Food, we plan on 2 meals a day, so breakfast is kind of, what we'll probably do is either bring something or one of us will run to like a CVS or something and just load up on like those little bites and stuff like that, muffins and everything, and then you'll just grab some of that. Most of the hotels won't come with breakfast. It'll just be something we'll have to take care of. But then lunch and dinner, and then some days there'll be like a dinner that will be provided by like the district or something else, but that's kind of how we're laying that out. It's 2 meals a day. For that, we're going to try, and I think you guys have done this in the past, we're going to use these LCEF cards. So you guys, have you ever heard of the LCEF? It's like this extension fund thing. I don't fully understand all that they do, but it's part of the Lutheran church, and they do a lot of stuff with money. And so they have these cards that you can get that basically are like little credit cards, basically, that we can put money on, and then the kids can go just get whatever they need to. Instead of passing out cash and that kind of stuff, it's just a card that they have. They keep track of it. If they lose it, there's an LCEF stand there that they can give us a new one, and that kind of stuff. So, and then t-shirts, we'll try and get some t-shirts so that we can all wear like the same shirt every day. It's easier to keep track of groups and that kind of stuff. And then we'll have a little bit, just extra $50 just for a fun. If we do like a big, as a youth group event, that'll be a part of that. And so that kind of rounds out that total to about $13.50 or $14.50, depending on flying or busing. Now, of that, you guys are not responsible for the entire thing. The church has in their budget, they put aside, I think it's $2,000, isn't it, Eric? Roughly every year, and that goes into a recurring NYG budget thing. So that covers half. Half of that cost is covered by the church. The other half is ultimately responsible from you guys. So the only thing that's different about that is that registration cost. We cover half of the $395. After that, when it hikes, the difference there we won't cover. So that's kind of where that sits. Any questions about that? Pretty straightforward. That's just kind of where it's at. For any adult leaders who go, we don't require them to pay. That gets covered. We spread out their cost across everybody so that they don't have to pay. I kind of figured, Eric and I have talked about this. We kind of figured they're taking a week of work off. They're doing all this stuff leading up to it. I don't want to ask them to also pay on top of all that. If they want to, that's more than fine. But they're not going to be required to pay for that. But if between the adult leaders and the spread out amongst everybody and half of it's covered by the church, it doesn't end up being a drastic change in the price. But yeah, any questions about that? Good. All right, that's pretty cool. All right. next thing is transportation, like I said earlier, bus or plane, we're kind of weighing that out. We talked about doing a train. Unfortunately, it costs about as much as flying, but it takes the same amount of time as driving. So it's not really a good option. I know, right? It's like great. I thought it would be kind of cool because then you pick up people on the way down. It can be kind of a cool thing, but no, probably not going to do that. So we'll either be flying or busing. Still working out exactly which one of those two we're going to do. Probably leaning towards flying, but we'll kind of see. So the other thing with that is housing, just so that everybody's on the same page with that. How that works is we'll be stuck in the hotels. They'll assign us the hotel room. So everybody will register. I'll put all that together, send it in, and then we'll be in either a double room, so 2 queens in it, or a king, which will have 2 people in it. So everybody's going to be sleeping in a bed with somebody else. That's just kind of how it has to work space-wise. So we will either be what I'm hoping to do is 4 youth in a room, and then the adults will have a king with 2 adults in there. Any questions about that? That was kind of tight. You can sleep on the floor if you want to. I know some youth did that. I know that's what I did back whenever I was in high school and I did this. We all figured out who actually got the bed, and everybody else piled up on the couch pillows on the floor, and we slept on that. So, some people sleep in the bathtub. Whatever works for you, man. That's up to you. Right? Yeah, so that's kind of where that sits. Any questions about that?
Just have to be out before shower time.
That's right, you just got to be out before shower time. Otherwise, they'll turn the shower on you.
Do youth get to ask for preferences on who they are with?
Probably not. I'll probably just kind of organize that so that I can just take care of it. I don't have to worry about that. Unless, Eric, is that something that you've done differently in the past?
I think we've done at least, if there's others, at least one other person that they know.
Okay, one other person. Okay, so we can kind of do that. We'll do whatever you guys have done in the past. We'll do the same thing. So we'll do like you can request one other person. Figure it out. Matt.
I think some 19-hour bus ride is a good idea.
Well,
I think we should.
we should fly. Not even for flying. And I get that. That is something that we.
It's also hard to organize people getting off planes.
It's both.
Significantly harder to get everybody where they need to be.
Yes, it can be a little more complicated,
But
we'll think about that. We're going to hammer out that detail by probably Wednesday. We'll send an email out saying, hey, this is what we're doing.
It's not a school bus. What was the difference? 19 to 5 hours for a plane?
I think it's about 5-6 hour flight. I mean,
Fly
total
direct,
travel
like-
time, it takes a little bit longer because there's some layovers and stuff. But we'd fly out of Moline to Chicago and then Chicago down. I think there's like at least right now, there's like a 4-hour layover in Chicago. But
Eric, was there any idea to like what we did, which was shuttle to Chicago and then fly, or was that a different?
We've actually looked into that, and it wasn't any more cost effective. It was actually cheaper to go from Moline to Chicago to fly.
let alone the cost of figuring out a shuttle to get over there and everything. So, yeah, that's just kind of where it is.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. So, yeah, that's kind of what we're looking at. Any questions on housing, transportation stuff?
Do you have the leaders all lined up already?
No,
Because
that's
they
something-
might have you know what I mean, if your volunteers aren't willing to do a 19-hour bus ride, you know what I mean?
Yes, and that is part of it too.
I know, I'm just saying, I just wondered if you know what I mean?
the volunteers get what they sign up for.
Yeah.
Take that in consideration. So yeah, no, that is something we're still working on. We've got some people who are interested. If you guys are interested, let me know. I've got the adult leader worksheet here with us too. But I know Abby wants to. If we need another female volunteer, she'd like to do it. But anyway, that's kind of where we're at. So, any questions about that? Cool. There we go. So, the last thing I kind of wanted to unpack really quick is that covenant. So it's on the back side. It didn't print quite right, but I had it set to flip on the short edge, not the long edge. But the covenant there kind of lays out the expectations that we're going to have going into this thing. Now, it's not a finalized copy. There's still some changes that can be made to that. That's probably something that whenever we start getting closer, we'll have a meeting as everybody who's going, and we'll kind of lay out some more things we want to add to that. so that the youth have a part in creating this covenant. But that's kind of a general outline of what it'll look like, and that'll be something that we'll kind of use as a guideline for how we're going to be behaving at this event. It's a big event. There's a lot of people. We want to have a lot of fun, but also I want to be able to keep everybody safe and accounted for, and all those kind of things. So that's kind of the outline of what that covenant will look like, and we'll just have everybody sign that whenever we get there, and we'll put everything, or not whenever we get there, but before leading up to, we'll have everybody sign it, and we'll take that on the way. So, any questions about that? Cool. All right. You guys are making this really easy. So the other thing is the sheet that I handed out here with the calendar, which has all the big dates on it. So like I said, October 1st is when we'll start trying to collect those registration sheets, so pretty soon, like pretty quick here. As soon as you guys know you're wanting to come, fill them out and get them back to me, and we'll put them all together. November 1st is that registration date. The day after, so November 2nd, is when the price hikes. That's this really weird thing that they do, whereas if it's postmarked November 1st, you're good to go. If it's postmarked after November 1st, it hikes in $30. I don't know why, but that's how they do it. So that's kind of that. And then early April is when we'll do the hotel deposit, and then May 1st is when that full payment is due for early registration. Other than that, the rest of it's kind of laid out there. The bottom of that calendar lays out when we're going to do some stuff, like when the actual event's going to take place, what that's going to look like, and then we're going to have some more meetings between now and then, obviously, to kind of communicate more stuff as we get more information. So, yeah. Any questions about that? Sweet. And then lastly is the youth participant worksheet. So that worksheet is just basically a bunch of the information that I need to put into their system. So for that, whenever you guys are like, okay, we're sending our kiddos to do this, you'll fill out that worksheet and then get it back to me, and then I'll take all the information off there and put it into the thing whenever we send everything in. But that's just basically, that doesn't get mailed off or anything like that. It's just for me to use to get all your information. Any questions about that? Okay, cool. Like I said, we're going to be doing more stuff on this. We'll be doing some more, like I know you guys have like decorated the envelope you sent off to the district in the past, so we'll do that. That kind of stuff. We'll try to get some exciting stuff kind of leading into this thing. Other than that, this video will get posted on the YouTube page, so if you ever want to rewatch it, if you're curious about something, you can rewatch it. Obviously, you can email myself or Eric, and we're more than willing to answer your questions. But yeah, that's kind of where we're at. Any other questions about NYG in general?